Hey there, you're watching Go on Shaw TV, coming to you today from Glenwood Centre, where lots is going on, but sadly, one big event is not happening this year. Well, hello there. You are watching Go on Shaw TV. We are here at Glenwood Centre, where there is always something going on. But this year, one event that we've certainly been promoting here and a lot of people have been talking about is not happening. And John Kenchenton is here to tell us about, John, what's not going to happen this year?
Unfortunately, Oktoberfest and Kinderfest, Nancy, sadly, ticket sales weren't quite good enough to pull it off.
This is such a heartbreaker because I know you had a committee that worked so hard to pull together Oktoberfest this year.
Absolutely. They're a fabulous committee and such hard workers, but sadly, we just had to come to our senses and unfortunately pull the plug.
Pulling the plug is never easy, but I do know before the cameras went on, we talked about it, and really, you would have been in the hole thousands of dollars.
Thousands,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Well above 10,000.
Well above 10,000. So that was Oktoberfest, was scheduled right here at Glenwood Centre, October 10th?
Yes.
October 10th. Maybe next year?
Yeah, who knows? Who knows? It's just one of those things, you never know.
It's just one of those things, you never know. We're going to talk to you a little bit more in a minute, John, because there is another part of Eurofest on October 10th that is still going ahead. We're going to tell you about that in just a minute. But first, we're going to meet a group of local heroes. These are men that were inspirations to an entire generation of athletes in the Alberni Valley. But before we do that, we're going to head out on a harvest with Jenny Fortin, a healthy harvest.
Lori loves working in the garden.
We come in at 9 o'clock and we put in 2, 3, 4 hours, whatever you want.
She also loves the perks that go along with it, like having a one-of-a-kind breakfast to start off her day.
We put green beans or raw beans into our salads, and sometimes in the morning it's tomatoes or cucumbers for breakfast.
The taste of fresh tomatoes and cucumbers from the garden is hard to beat. But for Lori, there are even greater benefits.
It's physically and mentally a good thing for a person, right? I suffer from depression. So for me, being out here doing this, I'm carefree and I know what I'm doing. If I don't, I just ask.
According to the Canadian Mental Health Association, approximately 8% of adults will experience major depression at some time in their lives. And 20% of Canadians will personally experience a mental illness in their lifetime. However, it's places like the Healthy Harvest Farm that give more than vegetables. They give hope.
It's a community project that's working to try and improve the lives of people who work here and really support people who are having difficult times working through mental illness challenges.
There's a lot of jokes, a lot of laughter that happens here, and a lot of ridiculousness, but but it's all good, and it's all part of creating that community and that space for people just to grow with one another and to feel safe. It's really important.
You could say that the Healthy Harvest Farm has become a sanctuary where there's nothing better than working with Mother Nature hand in hand.
It feels like you're accomplishing something. Like it's a big accomplishment to watch you put your seed in the dirt and then you watch it grow and then it produces. It's given me a lot of positive and I like keep coming back and back because I just can't get enough of it.
Whether it's beans or smiles, the Healthy Harvest Farm is proud of their produce. For Go on Shaw TV, I'm Jenny Fortin.
Basketball is a game of intensity, of speed and split-second decisions. And in 1965, the Alberni Athletics played it better than pretty much anyone in the country.
No matter where we went, we always knew we were going to win. And we always did the same plays every time and won every time. It was such an honor to be on that team.
It was an honor to be on the team. After all, in 1955, the Athletics had made history by winning the Senior Men's Canadian Championships. And now, just 10 years later, a dream team of players had come together in the Alberni Valley to create their own magic.
It felt real good. The comradeship between the players and everything. We were pretty confident. And we played in there and started having a bit of success there. And Alberni became quite noted for having good ball teams.
Well, Colin is being characteristically humble. In fact, Port Alberni felt like the basketball capital of Canada. And watching it unfold and being inspired in the stands was a 15-year-old Bill Surrey.
When you have a team of that stature here, you really want to be that good. So they do. They pick you up and make you feel like you're really aiming at something that you can achieve.
In fact, the momentum was so strong, the inspiration so tangible, that it almost seemed inevitable that the end of that 1965 season saw the Alberni Athletics playing once again in the final match to determine who would be the national men's champions.
It was played in the Athletic Hall, and it was, we had the best team. There was no doubt that we were going to win, and the crowds were so enthused and helpful at the time.
And of course, they did win, cementing their place in history.
It just felt fantastic to win an award like that. It's kind of a once in a lifetime, really.
It's just like that deep breath, it's such a good feeling to be one of the best teams the best team in Canada at that time.
The best team in Canada. Athletes that became role models for thousands of young men and women who saw in them tangible proof that they could achieve whatever they dreamed.
We looked up to anybody that was there because they made it. So you thought you had someplace you could actually get to.
Everybody wanted to be like us. So it was all the young kids wanted to be like us. Every time they see us, they start dribbling the ball and running and shooting and things like that. They wanted to copy whatever we were doing. Yes.
They were the Steve Nashes of their day. And maybe that's the lasting legacy of these champions. Not just that they won the national title, but that they gave so many others something to aim for. And according to Tom Watts, having a goal and believing that it's possible to attain it can make all the difference.
Looking forward to something, like, it just changes your whole life. It changes, actually. You know what you have to do. You just can't go out and do whatever you want to do. You've got to do what you have to do. And it made a big difference in my life, yeah.
For Go on Shaw TV, I'm Nancy Wilmot. The Unity Celebrity Charity Basketball Game is coming up here in Port Alberni on October 23rd, and it's going to be honoring those gentlemen of the 1965 Alberni Athletics basketball team, heroes, every one of them. Now, you're going to want to get your tickets soon because I can guarantee they'll be sold out. You can get those tickets at the Jericho Road Church or at Echo Centre. And I know it's going to be a great show. We were involved last year, and it promises to be just as big. Actually, we were involved 2 years ago. Promises to be just as big this year. Now, we have been talking with John Kenchenton about Oktoberfest and Kinderfest, which sadly have been cancelled for this year. But there was a third component of the Eurofest being planned for October 10th. John Kenchenton, you've changed hats. I've borrowed your other hat. What is still happening?
The Schützenfest. And the Schützenfest is held at the Black Powder Range with the West Coast Rangers, and the Schützenfest is done in conjunction with the West Coast Rangers rendezvous this year, which is something worth coming out for. And the entry fee is free.
It's free. So what happens at a Schützenfest?
Well, basically, this is a very long-established European event, and it's been going for long before Oktoberfest, actually. And many communities throughout Europe get together with their bands and parades, and they go in family form and in all forms of sporting forms to the range and shoot.
And is this something, obviously, if you want to go out and take part to shoot, you would want to go, but is it a spectator-friendly event?
Absolutely, yeah. And not only that, it's a participatory thing as well, because spectators, you can participate in the shooting. There is a small fee, though, because somebody has to pay for the ammunition and somebody has to pay for some prizes as well.
Prizes, free admission. How do people get out there? When do people go?
Okay, it's if you go up part of the way up the hump, you'll see the rendezvous sign with the Schützenfest sign attached to it, I hope. And what you do is just drive in 4 kilometers along the well-signed road, and you get to the West Coast Rangers shooting range, the Black Powder Range.
Excellent. John Conchenton, thank you so much for telling me about it. Thank you for your work organizing the events. It is unfortunate that Oktoberfest and Kinderfest aren't happening this year, but I know you'll be back next year.
Yes, no keeping us down, is there? Okay.
Excellent. Now, this is a man with a lot of hats. I got to tell you, I think I'm going to borrow that fur hat in a few minutes. But before I do that, Jenny Fortin is going to catch up with the current exhibit at the Rollin Art Center, which I believe is a photography exhibit, and Melissa Martin is going to take us by the hand and lead us straight down Art Avenue.
Hi there, and welcome to another edition of Art Avenue. Wanted to get right in and let you know what's happening at Shars Landing. On Saturday, October 10th is Ken Steed, and he's doing a CD release with Aaron Kay, and they are singer-songwriter. On Sunday, October 11th is Terry Gillespie, and he does blues, folk, rhythm and blues, and he's joined by Lindell Montgomery with bass fiddle. And then happening on Thursday, October 15th is line dancing with Linda Ross. So if you're interested in any of those concerts, get your tickets in advance at Shars Landing today. A few events that are happening at Draw Gallery that I wanted to share. Every Monday night is teen night, so if you're a young adult and you're interested, contact Astrid at Draw Gallery. And adults, and they meet every Tuesday and Wednesday for their art classes and fall in love with art, and that's her current exhibit happening at Draw Gallery. So if you're interested in any of those workshops, please contact Astrid today. Well, that's it for another edition of Art Avenue, but before I go, some reminders. Our second annual pumpkin carving contest is coming up on October 31st, which is Halloween, happening right here at the Rollin Art Center. It's $5 to register each pumpkin, and then if you want to come back and vote on your favorite pumpkin, it's $2. And the proceeds from that will be going to the BC Children's Hospital. And also another reminder of McLean's Christmas market happening out at the mill, and that's a 2-weekend event this year, and we still have tables available for that. So until next time, I'm Melissa Martin for Art Avenue.
There's no way Pauline could count the number of photos she's taken in her lifetime. But she does remember that special day when the world of photography opened up to her.
My next door neighbors gave me an old box Brownie camera, and I used to take photos of my cat and flowers and a few little holiday snaps, and it really progressed from there.
These days, you'll find Pauline on the hunt for her favorite subject.
Wildlife. That's the thing that really inspires me. Always looking for that perfect picture of an eagle or of a bear or of a river otter. And you're never going to get that perfect picture because you always want something else, something better.
Pauline also finds inspiration from other local photographers.
We have some wonderful photographers in our club. And I look at their images and I think, oh, I wish I could take bears like this photographer or the elk like another photographer. And that really inspires me.
The Port Alberni Photography Club comes together twice a month to choose new topics to photograph and critique each other's work.
We're a small club. We're a very friendly group. We don't compete with one another, which I think is really nice. We just like to share what we take, the different types of photography that we enjoy.
But this photography club has recently gathered together to share their work with the community.
With 9 photographers, there's something different. And sometimes when people have a vision through a lens, you see very snippets of things. And I think through this particular exhibit, you see that. And being that there's a range of photographers, you get a range of what they see.
This exhibit ranges from wildlife to close-ups and even photo manipulation. It'll be at the Rollin Art Center for everyone to enjoy until October 17th. For Go on Shaw TV, I'm Jenny Fortin.
It does look like a pretty cool exhibit at the Rollin Art Center. I know there is an awful lot on the walls, so a lot to see, kind of a visual cornucopia. Now we're going to take a bit of a break. I'm going to stroll around and see what actually is happening in Glenwood Center this morning. We'll be right back, so please don't go away. Well, welcome back. You are still watching Go on Shaw TV. We've been talking with John Conchenton a little bit about Oktoberfest and Kinderfest, which sadly have been cancelled this year, but Schützenfest is still happening, a free event on October 10th. One of the things I should remind you about is that we take volunteers. If you have some extra time on your hand and you would like to volunteer, help in television production in your community, please do stop by, send us an email at portalbernitv@shaw.ca. We'd love to have you on board. Now we're getting close to the end of our show, but before we say goodbye, we're going to stop off at the Alberni Valley Multiplex where I checked out what was happening on the last Pro D-Day.
Yeah, she is.
Becoming good at a sport, any sport, requires determination. And if your sport is hockey, well, you've got to hit the ice often.
Today's a pro day, so what do you do with your kids? So I know 1, 2, 4 of the adults out here took time off work, and without them, we couldn't do it.
What they're doing is holding the Hot Shots Female Development Camp, a women's hockey clinic that's all about skill.
If you go and you teach the kids 1 or 2 things, they learn it way faster. It's all about just basically learning how to walk before you learn how to run.
And if anybody knows the value of that approach, it's Kevin Little, a parent coach who has 3 daughters in this camp, aged 8, 9, and 14.
It's very important for me to get the kids out involved in sports, and they love it. So yeah, one of them started, and then it just kind of snowballed from there. Each year another one started. So as soon as I had the opportunity to jump in and help, we jumped at it.
Kevin's motivation was much the same as Paul's. They both wanted their daughters to be active in and enjoy sports.
We felt that the kids were missing out on the fun that we had when we were growing up. A lot of kids are sitting at home and they're making their living with their thumbs, texting, and on the couch.
Well, these girls certainly aren't sitting around. The response to the semi-regular Hot Shot camps has been positive, with girls of all ages and skill levels signing up. In fact, Paul believes there's enough interest in girls' sports development to continue the clinics after hockey season, working on softball or lacrosse skills.
The girls can all run at 13, 14. Most of them can catch a ball, most can throw a ball, but to get it to where they want to go. So it's the same thing. Just pick one thing out of softball, work on that. Lacrosse is back to the basics.
Back to the basics and back to this camp where Kevin's daughter sums up skills development pretty well.
I just like to learn about more things so I could do better at games.
Better at games, physically fit, and not spending this pro D-Day on the couch. Kind of a win-win-win situation. For Go on Shaw TV, I'm Nancy Wilmot.
My name is Susie Quinn, and I'm the editor at the Alberni Valley News. I've been a reader ever since I was about 5 years old, and it was really tough for me to pick a book to talk about. But when I was in junior high, I loved Greek mythology, and so I chose Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief by Rick Riordan. It's about a modern-day hero. Percy Jackson is 12 years old, and he finds out that he's the son of Poseidon, the Greek god, but except that he's living in the now, in the 2000s. And he and his friends go on lots of adventures. There's many books. There's 5 in the original series, Percy Jackson and the Olympians. The series that I really loved was the Heroes of Olympus, and that's what really got me into reading the Percy Jackson books. Percy has dyslexia and also attention deficit and hyperactivity disorder. And it's not considered to be a weakness in this book, it's considered to be a strength. And that was one of the things that I liked in this series. If you really like the Greek mythology, you'll find so many references that you can look up online about the actual Greek myths. And later in August, there's actually a book coming out by Rick Riordan called Percy Jackson's Greek Heroes, and it is written Percy Jackson style.
We're on location here at Sprout Shop, and I have a couple of fellas here who are going to tell me what it used to be like when this place was hopping. Tommy Marr, tell me about it.
Well, it was really busy, Nancy, especially first thing in the morning. The crews would come in from the town buses and to the marshalling yard in there where those buildings are, and they would, out of the buses, then gather in their crews in the different positions, and then get in their buses to go to the woods and take off through that gate and away. The truck driver, would then come up to the shop.
So once everybody has arrived and dispersed to the woods, what was going on in these buildings behind us, Al?
Well, this was called the Sprout Lake Shop, and the truck drivers were on this corner of it, and they would marshal approximately a little bit earlier than these fellas. They would head out to the bush, so they were there while the operators got to the sides.
Wow.
So there was about 23 trucks total, and the shop there, we did all the maintenance on all the logging equipment, grade equipment.
Wow. You told me before the cameras went on, how many mechanics were working here then?
When I first came in, it was around 76. I started in the shop as an apprentice, and there was just over 70.
So there's a reason why we've been out here at Sprout Shop talking to these gentlemen about what used to go on here. It's because there's an event coming up. And Tommy, what's happening?
We're having our autumn coffee get together and at the Steelworkers Hall, the old IWA Hall, and from 1 till 3 on the 13th of October.
These are always such great events. Is it just folks that used to work at Sprout Shop and in this division?
Well, no, there's a few guys from Franklin, Cameron are drifting in, and it's kind of nice. So we welcome them, and we hope to see a few more of them.
You know, I just love chatting with the gentlemen from the Old Time Loggers Association. They've got great stories, and 1 or 2 of them could even be repeated on television. So since we're at the end of the show, there's nothing left to say but go hug a logger.